In this video, we're going to finish our discussion about whether or not Uber and Lyft's business model is going to change substantially after Election Day. And I'm going to tell you how I would vote on Prop 22. Let's talk about it. Welcome everyone, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Travel Time. If you are new to the channel, I'm going to ask that you click my face in the corner. In fact, even if you're not new, if you have not yet subscribed, click my face in the corner to subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell icon. That way you'll know when I post new videos. When we last left off, we were reading from MarketWatch.com, and they were making some points, and I was not necessarily countering them, but I was giving my analysis. So we're going to pick up on that just a smidgen, and then we are going to talk about what I would do, what choice I would make, yes or no on Prop 22. So we left off at disability and unemployment insurance. This one is really interesting because of the argument that's being put forth. Prop 22 says workers will be provided with disability coverage, but opponents note that the coverage will be limited to 104 weeks. That falls short of what California employees are entitled to under federal law and state law, which is lifetime coverage. All right, once again, I'm going to say that is a straw man argument, which a lot of these have been. Now, someone asked me after watching the last video, what do you mean, Mark? What's a straw man argument? What that means is, rather than arguing the real position, people will create their own position. They'll put words in the mouth of their opponent and then argue that point. Now, Uber and Lyft are not hiding from the fact you're not employees. That's what Prop 22 is all about. It's about not making drivers employees and keeping them as independent contractors. So saying that they don't get the disability they're supposed to under state and federal law for employees, it doesn't matter. They're not employees. That's a whole point of Prop 22. This is a whole different animal, and you're comparing apples and oranges, and that's where the argument falls short. How many independent contractor jobs give you up to 2 years of disability? None. None. I've said in the past, I've been an independent contractor most of my life, and I have to rely on one person, me. And if I can't work, I can't work. Either I bought some kind of insurance to anticipate that, which, by the way, is why I would encourage you to think about Cover, which I have a link for down below. But more importantly, the arguments they're putting forth they really don't hold water. Employees are also entitled to unemployment insurance, which Prop 22 does not address. As demand for ride-hailing tanked because of the pandemic, especially at first stringent shelter-in-place orders, drivers lost income. Yes, they did. But you know what? It wasn't just drivers. A lot of people lost income. Some people lost businesses. And once again, taking one of the lowest points in the past 100 years historically and comparing it to that, it's irrelevant. It really is irrelevant. Worst case scenario, and putting that up as if it's a standard. What are the chances you're going to have a worldwide pandemic again? It hasn't happened in 100 years. It's probably not going to happen in the next 100 years. I don't know. The business model of companies that relied on large numbers of independent contractors shifts all the risk of the economic downturn to the workforce. I don't know. This is that Fisk woman again from Berkeley. It shifts a lot of the risk. It shifts a lot. They're still a business. They still have to stay in business. They're a worldwide organization. If their drivers collapse, they go down with them. That has tremendous consequences for workers and for the public when the company turns bad. Yeah, you know, if whether you're an employee or an independent contractor, if that business goes down the tubes, you don't have a job. You don't have a job. So it probably sounds like I'm supporting Prop 22. We'll find out. We got one last thing to talk about, and then I'll tell you that, and you can make up your own mind. This issue is at the heart of the gig company's argument that workers need to remain independent contractors. We're talking about flexibility. Prop 22's backers claim that drivers overwhelmingly want to be contractors because they want the flexibility. Okay, here's where Uber and Lyft are. Now they're doing a bad job. Yes, we want flexibility. Of course we like the flexibility of driving. Uber and Lyft could still provide that as employers. There are a lot of employers that provide all kinds of flexibility. I have a job. When was the last time you saw me go to the office? I'm running around the country. I have tons of flexibility. You can provide flexibility for your employees if you want to. So hanging the hat of flexibility on the hook, or do you hang your hat on the hook of flexibility? I don't know where the damn hat hangs, but that's what Uber and Lyft are doing. And it is a bald-faced lie. They can provide flexibility without requiring that you are independent contractors. Prop 22 opponents say they point to studies that show most ride-hailing drivers actually work full-time. That has got to be a load of BS. There is no way that most ride-hailing drivers work full-time. Absolutely no way. And they give examples. They say San Francisco has 71% work more than 30 hours a week. So that's what you call full-time, 30 hours. 50% work more than 40 hours. They're looking at San Francisco, which is probably extreme. San Francisco is a really tight city where there's not a lot of parking. A lot of people don't own cars. And you can probably have a bit easier time driving full-time in San Francisco. Try doing that where I am, outside of Milwaukee. Good luck. Some people can do it. Not 71% of all people driving Uber and Lyft. There's no way that's happening. So, how would I vote on Prop 22? I would vote no. Can we have like a little no sign here? Let's do this one. I said sign, I meant sound. Why would I vote no? Because AB 5 is bad law. Prop 22, Proposition 22, is equally bad. You don't fight bad with bad. Vote no, shoot this down, and then find a way to shoot down AB 5. Laws are repealed all the time. One of the most recent ones in my lifetime, one of the biggest ones in my lifetime I recall, was the Volstead Act. You know what that was, right? Prohibition. So some really strong, seemingly good laws that are designed to protect people, like prohibition, ended up tanking, no pun intended, because they were just bad law. And now with the Volstead Act, it took a decade, but they got rid of it. AB 5 is not that much of a hot button. You should be able to kick that sucker out. In the past year, if everyone would have banded together, as hard as Uber and Lyft are to get an exemption, just to kick that thing out and replace it with something good and decent, you'd be in better shape. But now what you're going to have is you're still going to have a bad law on the books, only you're going to have one group, rideshare drivers and delivery people, that are going to be exempt from it. But you still have a lot of people. One great example are independent writers, that write for magazines and newspapers and things. They had a real tough time of it because of AB 5. AB 5 is simply bad law, and you don't counter that with more bad legislation. Vote no on Prop 22. Kick that to the curb. See how Uber and Lyft respond, and then you can start chipping away at AB 5. Gonzalez has to know that, she really screwed the pooch on this one. Pardon my figure of speech, but it's bad law. It is really bad law. And as we're finding, a lot of people, their jobs are going to suffer because of it. And if Uber and Lyft go under, there's not a better sign that, holy cow, we've got to repeal this thing. Get Uber and Lyft back and then start fighting for a good solution. What do I think a good solution would be? Leave everything as it is, only require the delivery companies, the rideshare companies, to base their compensation on a percentage. I would recommend the 20/80 it started with. That way, drivers are getting a set fee. They know what they're going to get. And if you want to put in that law, they have to get a minimum wage. Companies can meet that really easily by changing their fares. It's that simple. It really is that simple. Have an 80-20 split and then a reasonable, not extreme, a reasonable booking fee, pickup fee that Uber and Lyft get to keep. That would really solve everything. It's the way the company started before they started all the monkey business, shenanigans, hijinks, tomfoolery, any other goofy word you can think of. And that's when drivers started getting ticked off and they started complaining and whining. When I say whining, a lot of it was legitimate whine. And especially out in California, they got Napa Valley, you know, where they grow all those grapes and make the wine. And that's when the legislators did stupid things like pass AB 5. Tear it all down, start from scratch and do it right. Vote no on Proposition 22. Well, that's what I think. What are your thoughts? Leave your comments down below. As always, I encourage you to like and share these videos. If you haven't already, click my face in the corner to subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell icon. That way you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'm Mark. This is Mark's Travel Time.